What's good, guys? My name is Ted, and if you don't know me, I run an Etsy 3D printing business, making about $500 to $700 a month in sales with just a single 3D printer, as you can see here. I don't have any crazy print farm like other YouTubers. I just got one 3D printer, and I've been working on this business for about a year or so. I sell three different products, and I work about 1 to 2 hours a week on this shop. You can see the numbers here. So I've been earning about $500 a month in total revenue and making about 20 sales per month. And like I said, in the year or so I've been doing it, I've made about $4,700 in total sales and I've neared 200 total orders. So first I'm going to talk about what do I sell specifically? How do I come up with these good ideas? Some of my successful products I have, why these products are successful and why they work, how to come up with these winning ideas so you can come up with these numbers with just a single 3D printer like my setup. I'm pretty much going to be breaking down everything I've done in the past year or so, everything I've learned so that you can just copy me and have the same success. I'll talk about also finding your niche and specifically what you should be making. So to start, what do I sell specifically? You kind of have two paths here. You can find other people's products or you can make your own. And I like to use the analogy of fishing for this. So you could go to the packed lake. It's a lot of fun. It's easy to go to that lake. It's got an easy loading dock. Or you could go by the pond by your house. Maybe you have to walk through kind of a rough trail to get to the pond, but you've lived by it your entire life. You know all the fishing spots. Like, all right, right here, I'm going to be catching all the fish. But here, maybe you're out of town, you don't know exactly what's going on, and you have all these different boats here who are also fishing. This is how I like to think about making successful product ideas. You do not want to be in the ocean or the lake here with all the competition. Sure, there might be more fish, but it's going to be harder to attract those fish. But when you go to the pond by your house that you've been fishing at your whole life, you know exactly where to find those fish. You know the best fishing spots. Might be a little bit harder to get there, but success will come much easier if you follow this path and you go to the pond. Now, how do I relate this to 3D printing and creating successful products? I relate this in the way that you don't want to be finding those articulated dragons or like fidget toys in the ocean here. You want to be coming up with your own ideas in the pond. What are some of the ideas I have? What are the problems I run into day to day? That is how you have a successful shop and a great product. So to start off, I wouldn't spend all too much time worrying about the 3D printer, worrying about your different CAD softwares, worrying about where to sell your products. I would worry about the idea because that is where the success comes from. Much like how in the pond, you can come up with a different idea in a specific niche. You're not going to have so much competition here. You're not going to have to spend a bunch of time battling the competition to get those fish and find the perfect fishing spot. You can just come up with the idea and sell it because you know your problems you're going to be running into. And we'll talk about that later. So, like I said, you could be a world class chef, you have the best kitchen in the world, all the utensils. But if you have rotten ingredients, you're going to have a crappy meal. And it's the same way with product ideas. If you have bad product ideas that are in this very crowded ocean, you're not going to have a good shop and you're not going to be making any money. So the idea is the ingredient. You want to come up with great ideas. You have a successful shop. So let's walk through some of those great ideas. Right here, I have the pattern weight. It's my most successful product. I've had about $3,000 in revenue, 166 sales. And this is only one version of my product. I actually have two listings for this product. So this isn't the full picture. But what you know is that that's a very successful product. People enjoy this product. And it's more specifically in a niche that I fully understand. So, for some background, I have a background in apparel design and selling. It's something I love to do. So, I understand this world deeply. I understand all the problems that live within it, much like how you know that fishing pond by your house, all the different intricacies. So, from there, I knew there was a whole world of problems that I would understand deeply, I would understand authentically. So what I did is I found that problem. So the problem I solved was when I was cutting out different pattern pieces. So you lay these pieces of paper down on fabric, you cut out your pattern pieces, your fabric, and sometimes you can just hold it all down with different things. I actually have it here. Like these are the OG pattern weights, or you could, make your own with sand or filling with something, or sometimes you just use coffee mugs. But the problem with that is that this edge flips up here and it's not flat. So when you're tracing, it becomes hard or it's not accurate. So what I did, and bro, like this is so easy. I just took a literal circle and a triangle. I added some weights in it, and that was my pattern weight, and that was my most successful product. And it's very simple on the surface, but once you understand that I solved a problem, I took something that was an annoyance and I fixed it with this design, it makes sense as to why it was so successful. So I took an existing product and I solved exactly what it misses. What are the things that would make it better? So the problem I ran into is that weights do not hold the pattern corner flat. I took this existing product and I made it better. You can see here, I took all these aspects. I mean, you can even see here, like this pattern corner's flipping up here. This one's flipping up a little bit here. And now it holds the pattern corner down flat. And like I said, it's nothing revolutionary. It literally took me 15 minutes in CAD to make this. It's a circle and a triangle. But what it does is it solves that problem and exactly what that product is missing. I call this process micro innovation. Essentially, you're just taking something that already exists and making it better with 3D printing and the advantages that 3D printing has. I kind of think about it like AirPods. Like AirPods or like the original wired earbuds, like they were chill. Like people liked them. Nobody had any issues with them. But bro, like once the AirPods came out, like you're like, oh my gosh, I have to switch to these. Like it's so much more convenient, you know. When I'm going to the gym, I don't have to worry about the cables. I don't have to like tuck the cables underneath my shirt. You can just plug them in and go. It's the same thing with the pattern weight. You know, these were good. These pattern weights are good. There's no problems with them, like, they did the job, but you can even see here in the picture, they bow up the fabric or they bow up the corners. So I knew they needed to be fixed, and then I made it better with the pattern weight. It's very similar. I know it's not as, I guess, ambitious as the AirPods, but at the end of the day, I took something and I made it better. So find a product you use, find out what's frustrating with it. You know, what are some of the things that is annoying in this specific hobby or activity I do day to day? And can I 3D print something that makes it better and fixes it? And from there, that is your product. Oh, that circle. That's your product that you want to sell. Now, I kind of have another framework with this as well. So I have the Serger Bin. This is my second most successful product. And what it does is it catches all the scraps that come out from here on the Serger. It drops it down into the bin and it's a universal fit. It fits every machine. That's where these were lacking. So this kind of goes hand in hand, and I'll explain what I did a bit further. But again, an existing product, and I made it better because now it is a universal fit. It fits everything, any machine. And the ones on sale, you know, they're specific to a certain model number or a specific machine. So I knew there could be a solution for this that fits every single machine. So what did I do? I allowed for customization and sizing. This is something that a 3D printer can do uniquely because you print on demand. You print as the orders come in. So what I did is I have this little template that they can buy, they can print it out, and they can find the exact angle for their serger so they can get the correct size for their serger. You can see it on here. I have it right here on my specific angle, and those scraps go right into the bin. So what I did to make this successful, I took advantage of the 3D printer aspects. I found a problem and I fixed it. So it's made to order. It allows for customization. Also very low cost production. I don't have any supports or anything here. It just prints out very quickly and easily. So with both of these kind of products and frameworks and concepts, these are everything I found in common is that they take advantage of the 3D printing manufacturing capabilities. So not only do they solve a problem and make somebody's life better, but it also allows for customization. You know, with this, you can have the different sizes for the serger bin. So you can have a universal fit, for example. It creates cheaper production, although sometimes things that are manufactured are much cheaper. But for example, like the pattern weight I have here, these OG pattern weights, I think they're like $75 for a set of 3, which is insane. But, you know, you think about it, it's like molded in steel and they are very heavy. They're much heavier than these, but it's a little overkill, but it makes sense as to why they're more expensive. But my pattern weights here, they're only $19. So people are more inclined to buy it. Like it's doing the same function for what, a fourth of the price? So it's a no-brainer people are going to buy this. They want to buy something that's cheaper. You also don't need to take or track the inventory. There's no need to have any warehouse space because, like I said, it's print on demand. You can make these orders as they come in, which allows, again, for customization. A lot of these kind of go hand in hand here. And it's also a very cheap startup cost for a business. So the 3D printer, it only cost me, I believe, $300 for the A1. You can get filament that's, I don't know, $15 to $20 a spool. All of the shipping supplies you need, probably like 50 bucks. You're looking at maybe like $400 to $500 to start and literally get this off the ground and making products immediately. And like I said, I'm making about $500 a month in revenue on the low end and 700 on the high end. Actually hit four figures in my best month in December. It's the holiday season, people are more inclined to buy stuff. But I digress. With that revenue I'm bringing in, I'm able to pretty much pay back my 3D printer each month. And it took me about 2 months to get there. So it's very cheap to start up this business, come up with great ideas because these problems you're running into and make a profit. The other thing is that you can test ideas fast and often. You don't have to talk to a manufacturer. You don't have to go overseas to make this. And you can just iterate really fast with the ideas you're coming up with. You can prototype fast, see what's working, what's not, what's something I can improve on this idea that I have. You can do that so fast. Like you can literally create a product from start to finish in a single day, which is a miracle. It's insane that you can do that now. So, what I want you to understand when you're creating these products, much like how I talked about the fishing example at the start, is that you are the niche when you're coming up with these product ideas. And similar to how I did it, you take your hobbies in daily life, those problems that you're running into, and then you have the 3D printer solve them and then you sell it to customers like you. So I did this the same way. I love sewing. I'm in that niche. I found the problem with the pattern weight in the serger bin, and I took the specific characteristics of the 3D printer. I took advantage of them to make this product both cheaper, made to order, have sizing, have different customization. Those are the aspects that help sell that product. And then I directly advertise and sell those products to customers like me. So I know myself pretty well. You can sell to other people like you. I'm sure you know yourself pretty well too. You know what they want, you know the problems they're running into. And like I said at the beginning, you know that fishing pond. You've lived there all your life. It's right by your house. You know exactly what to sell. You know what your customers are going to want. You know that you can sell these products authentically because you're running into the problems yourself. So, in summary, the fishing analogy at the start, I just said, don't go to the busy lake. Make your own product ideas, come up with those ideas, run into those problems, and then you can have successful products. You can be like me, you could have three total products and get that $500 to $700 a month in revenue. Start with the idea. Don't spend a bunch of time worrying about your 3D printer, which one to get, which software do I use for CAD, which platform do I sell on. Start with the idea. That's the most important part. You can do rough sketches. And like I said, bro, it can literally be a circle with a triangle. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I walked through the pattern weight and what made it successful. I thought about micro innovation, thinking about the AirPods analogy, taking something that already exists and making it better with those 3D printer capabilities and advantages. The Serger Bin, taking advantage of those 3D printing principles of customization and made to order, really made this product successful while also identifying a problem. And in the end, all these products work because they solve people's problems. That's the biggest thing. If you can solve somebody's problems, they're going to buy the product. They're more inclined to do so. Then we talk about how to come up with those winning product ideas, those daily problems, those daily frustrations, and finding that niche, the things, the activities you do day to day, the hobbies you do, those have a world of problems that you can solve inside of, much like how I found all these problems inside of my niche sewing. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you took something away from it. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in down below. Thank you guys for watching.